Hi. Before I start this, I want to again apologize to the Huntington community at large for some incidents in the past where my anger and rage and state of inebriation did not allow me to surgically address the people that had brought drama to my feet. People, I might add, that to my face behaved like they were friends, when, as situations, circumstances revealed, were anything but that. And they sought to come between Shea and myself. You know, there is a way that I do things that some people don't like, and that's just too bad. If at that time I had moved to Huntington thinking that these people that had no intention of being actual friends of mine, if that had been revealed after I had gone through the expense of relocation and everything else, that if it had come to light, it would have been far worse, my reaction. And I am grateful to the people that had the integrity, the honesty to tell me what was actually going on. You know, I look at Shea as a sacred mirror, as a reflection of the people, the family, and the community that he grew up around, and in his case, the best of them. And I, even if you don't like me, am honored being able to, through him, share that wonderful energy that you have helped to create around him. With that said, you know, I have eyes and ears everywhere. Um, I hear a lot of things, and I am taking a lesson from the last 7 months, and I'm going to remain silent, as I have about a lot of things, until it's absolutely necessary to speak. There has been a lot of commentary over the last couple of days that left him in tears, and my friends Rose and Suzanne comforted him and helped to bring him back down. And when I saw him in that state, incidentally, not a state that I created, you know, I decided that this had to be done. And I asked him at the point where I told him I was going to make this to keep it friends only, because this really is a matter for his family and his friends. One of the things that got back to me was, and it's somebody who has constantly said, I'm bad for him. There are a few of you. That she had a bad feeling about his going off to the Northeast with me. You know, and in fairness to that, you know, I am basically a pretty ethical person. Even when I was drinking, and I didn't really get into it until my early 40s. Um, because of my eyes and that, gave up driving, and there's not a breathalyzer on my car. I do not seek to put my friends in danger, nor do I seek to harm them. And as irresponsible as I could be, um, I still held on to the conviction of being responsible to those that love me and those around me, doing my best not to endanger them with my behavior. But this charge of Shea exchanging puppet masters is so disrespectful to the mother that gave him life, to the family that nurtured him and helped to raise him on that mountaintop, because he would not be in your lives were it not for them. And I am not talking about Christian thinking of, honor thy father and mother, but the Buddhist perspective of revering a worthy parent. And his parents are worthy of respect regardless of how anyone feels about me. I realized that there were people in his life early on that looked out for him, as in high school. And this is something else that people don't realize. Shea and I share everything. We have the kind of trust with one another where we communicate honestly about everything. I have made my mistakes, and I know that there were times where I got him so upset that I was that guy that made him cry. But just to put things in perspective, when we were on the train ride back from New York recently, about an hour and a half outside of Huntington, he started to cry. And he said, I've had so much drama in my life over the last 5 months. And I was like, and he said, none of it came from you or your friends. It all came from my circle. And it did. Somebody, because I have blocked quite a few people over him, they would call 5 and 10 minutes before we had something big going on, or 2 days, and drop some lovely little bomb on him that would take his focus off of what was at. And to his credit, each and every time he rose, though in a state of pain because of what people were saying to him, to rise and be counted. I don't have to take a menu out for the willfully ignorant because they are willful in their ignorance. But to those that don't know, I have the keys to many doors that I have opened for him, doors of opportunity, and when he has chosen to walk through them, he has risen to the occasion, and he has done well. After his time with Alex and Allison Gray, Allison turned to me and said, you need to make this happen. I would like to co-opt a painting with Shea. My world in the Northeast is a Zen garden, and it didn't just happen that way. Most of my friends are what I refer to as very sober-minded. I was always kind of the coven puppy or the bad child in the corner of the room. Well, not always. They remember me from a time when I was the person I've gone back to being, because I don't have the dark medicine in my life. But, you know, Shea started seeing this, and he said to me at one point when we were there, he said, I don't know why you ever left. And the reason I left is because I had hopes of bringing to other worlds a piece of my world, the best of it. And there is no mistaking. I mean, Shea has co-producer credits to his name now. He has all of this opportunity to work with other artists. The two of us are throwing a festival in May of next year at Pine Grove in upstate New York. We have been invited by McBride to come out to Nevada, Oberon to come out to his sanctuary, and there are other invitations that I'm just not going to discuss at this moment. The photographs that have gone up over the last 5 or 6 months don't lie, and I know it irritates quite a few people in that circle that we are discussing right now, that he smiles so big in those pictures and is so happy. I am not as controlling of him as people might think I am. I'm actually protective of him, but I want him to experience the world outside that mountain he grew up on, because Shea has something to bring to the world. And I know that so many of you didn't recognize the fact that in your midst was a growing visionary that can and will change this world. Something that I have been trying to do, but am losing energy for. The other thing is my shamanic obligations in the last week. My mother lost her only friend in the world. Um, it's going to be hard for her right now. My friend Sandy lost her mother, and this is a woman that I love very much, that is like a sister to me. And we are now with a friend of mine who is also dealing with the limitations of time. And it doesn't matter to a few of you that keep throwing the grenades, the ones that call 5 minutes before a thing, or come in to kick me while I'm down, not really caring how much it is going to hurt Shea in the process of that. I am giving him some choices now. I have stepped back long enough. I have not interfered with his life. And what really killed me, and this is something he shared with me, about people saying, oh, we have a bad feeling about you going up there. This is going to be wrong. This is going to be, just something that you really shouldn't do, and all of this. And those of you who know you are wrong about this don't have the guts to come up and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. The continued efforts to undermine what I'm doing with him, you know, unless it really affects him, really have all the effects on me of fleas on the dog that I am, and that's okay. But in seeing his condition, uh, again, not of my creation, I've decided that he really does need a rest for a while until things die down. And, he fully sees now the wheels of manipulation that have been going on around him that really have nothing to do with me at all. I realize that there are people that are protective of him. I certainly understand that. But at the same time, the proof is in the pudding of what I have done for him and will continue to do for him. I'll never abandon him. I'll never forsake him. And quite frankly, there is no one in this world that I love more than him. And when I love somebody, I will march into hell, into Christian hell, to get what they need. I have values, I have standards, I have ethics. And as far as the same old song going on with a number of people in his life, I don't need to react to it. I don't need to fight it. Because in the end, the poison you create is what you will drown in yourself. It's that simple. And to the rest of the people that are in his life that really, really want the best for him, thank you so much. Shea has been through a lot in his life, and he needs your love and support. I realize that some of the things that we do, people don't understand. And it doesn't matter if you trust me, but please trust him. You know? I mean, there are a lot of things that we discuss, and I will tell him, quite frankly, people are not going to like this. When he asked me about 3 years ago to help him put discipline in his life, I turned around and I said, there are already people that don't like my presence in your life, and if I start doing this, they're going to hate me. And I was right. But I love him enough to do it. In my world, and you can ask him about this, I leave him free to draw and make art. He meets his expectations when it comes to helping out, with things that need to be done. And I try to encourage him to do that when he gets back to the mountain. He wants me to come back to that community, your community, and to try and teach. But this is where he and I have a problem. Because I thought he kept telling me things will blow over, this drama will end, all of that. It hasn't ended. And really, the direction that I'm heading in is toward the positive in this life, the inspirational message, building a bridge to the future that others will trust enough to walk on. And that is the role of the visionary, which incidentally Shea is as well. It's recognized by Alex and Allison Gray, by Jeff McBride, by Oberon, by my council of elders. And yes, I have people that I have to answer to too. And I'm not going to share with you what they told me with regard to this situation. But it is reaching a point now. And this is, take it for what I'm saying. I have shown Shea a beautiful world. And I'm not going to pressure him at all, other than to tell him that I will completely walk away and put a wall between myself and any potential drama that is more of the same. I have changed back into who I am. I am a force to be reckoned with. I've had pressure from people like Nellie and Shay's mother, and other people to be nice, which quite frankly I resent from time to time. But I can be kind, and I honestly do forgive all that's been done. I am sorry for the things that I have done to encourage hostility or bad feeling, because that really is not who I am. But at the same time, after hearing about one troubled woman running around summer solstice, not caring that she was speaking to my people, playing in my sandbox and pissing in it, it all got back to us, and I'm like, how can people that love and respect him so much let somebody do this behind his back without addressing it? And if people are addressing it, thank you. And if you're not, if you really love, respect, and honor him and his free will, then you will stand up to the people that are stirring all of this crap, this willful ignorance, this needless pain. And if you want to attack me, fine. Come to me. Come to my face. Face me and do it. We can have a good bloodletting and get it over with. And while I do block people on Facebook, my email address is public knowledge. And I am going to write in the future in a way that I really have no concern whether people repost it or not without my permission. So please, not for my sake, but for his, help him by doing the best you can not to enable the people that are harming him. Those that claim they want his free will to be exercised as long as it conforms to their agenda. In my world, Shea is free to be who he is. And the choice he may have to face, if I do walk away, is to either come with me or be without me. And I think after 5 years, I have earned that right. I do forgive all that have brought me pain, but that does not mean I'm going to leave the door open for more of it. Thank you for listening. And as I say at the end of all my videos, have a wonderful life, and thank you for listening. And as usual, it doesn't want to cooperate with me.